It's Friday. It's the 5th of July. Anything happen overnight? Anything? I watched some TV, a bit of YouTube. Yeah, probably an old episode of NCIS or something. Anything else? Anything else happen at all? Nah, nothing. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, and that is it. Right. Hello, Robert Van Buren. Straight out the gate. Robert Van Buren, horologist to the stars. Now, this is before I get into what we're going to talk about, but I'm not going to beat it to death with a stick. Let's dash across to Spain. Chrissy Richards. Hi, everyone. I saw a lovely lady doctor yesterday, and she's going to do a biopsy on Tuesday. Results in 2 to 3 weeks. Then the doctor will decide if I need surgery. Hot here. 40 degrees in the shade. That's in the middle of Spain, where Chrissy lives on a farm. Grand Pat, maybe should we be watching reruns of Yes, Prime Minister? Yeah, of course. It's classic. Absolutely classic. Now, if you've just woken up, where the hell have you been? Yesterday was the election. I voted. Ebony did not vote. But when I got back, she'd done a protest vote in the middle of the kitchen, which wasn't great. That was her protest vote. So here's the headlines. This is all you need to know, right? Because by the way, no Phil Dave today because he got a call and basically Rupert wants him working round the clock in Rupert Towers. So that's where he's going to be. Okay. Labour won by a landslide. No surprise there. That was always inevitably going to happen. So get over it. Labour at the moment, 412 seats, which means they gained 211 seats. Think about that just for a minute. They got 412 seats. They gained 211 seats, right? The Conservatives, remember them? They now have 121 seats. So that's nearly a 300 majority. Jesus Christ. They lost 250 seats. Lost. We'll come back to that in a minute. Liberal Democrats, Lib Dems, have got 71 seats, which means they gained 63 seats. 63. Okay. SNP have only 9 seats. They lost 38 seats. Quite right, so. And after all that, never mind, they can go in their very, very luxury £90,000 camper van and get away from it all, can't they? Kimmy Lashmar, agree with Ebony. It's all shite. Well, we'll see. And Chrissy Richards in Spain goes, is that the best they've ever done? Yeah, it's the best they've ever done. You kidding me? They've gained 211 seats. It's unfreaking believable, but absolutely guaranteed. It was assured it was going to happen anyway. Absolutely. What I think is, and Nigel Farage got in. Finally, Farage is an MP. And also, in case you missed it, Corbyn, standing as an independent, no longer a member of the Labour Party, standing as independent, got in back in Islington because they love him. But they love Mussolini as well. So, it is what it is. And I think that you have to give him a chance. I didn't think I'd ever find myself saying that. But you know what? You got to. Chrissy Richards in Spain, where it's 40 degrees, is saying, it doesn't matter. They're all a waste of space, in my opinion. Well, they're politicians. Of course they are. How do you know when a politician's lying? Their lips are moving. You got to give them a chance. Because whether you liked them or whether you didn't, the Conservatives had, 13, 14 years to get this right, and they made a complete cock-up of it. That's all there is to it. They completely trashed it. Let's see what Graham Pack is saying. In a recent YouGov poll of Labour voters as to why they're voting for Labour, 48% says to get the Tories out, 13% that the country needed a change, a total of 61. Only 5% like their policies. I would suggest, and it's just a suggestion, I try not to do politics because it just is aggravating, but I would suggest a lot of the people had no idea what anybody's politics were. Now, I'm a libertarian. I've made no secret of that. And what I mean by that is I vote on who's best for the area, not for the whole country. I vote on local issues, on local politics. That's what I do. And if somebody, even if I don't like their party, is doing a bang-up job for that area and cares about the people who live in the area, that's who gets my vote. It's a simple thing. I think, small is way better. Hence the Midday Show. We're tiny, but we're punching way above our weight. Way above our weight. Right. Leslie Ian Jones says this. Gained load of seats, but Labour percentage of vote rose only 1.8% from its 2019 total. That will leave Labour HQ worried as they cannot risk annoying their voters, let alone anybody else. Well, yeah, Kimmy, you're right. Graham, those stats are scary because no one reads the manifestos. Of course they don't. It's only the people having meetings in rooms above pubs, which is how people like Corbyn, etc., and Diane Abbott, etc., get through. Oh, good. Jeremy Clarkson's bought a pub, by the way. That's the good news. That is the absolutely marvellous news. Jeremy Clarkson has bought a pub. Isn't that great? I think that's nice. And he's going to spend about £1 million on it. It's to give two fingers to the council, basically. I don't think they read the manifestos. Did you? Did you read the manifestos and go, yep, I'm voting for this because they stand for this, they stand for that? No, they don't. You're voting because if you like the candidate, you don't, or you like the party, or you don't. I tell you the image that I can't forgive, and I'd love to know how you feel about this. When Prince Philip died, right? And I met Prince Philip twice. He scared the hell out of me, to be perfectly honest. Kimmy Lashmar did read the manifestos. Get you, Mrs. Yes Minister. Yes, I did, says Kimmy Lashmar. I didn't read the manifesto. They promise everything. They promise, free unicorns for everybody under 5. They don't deliver it, are they really? Oh my God, Julie Voice. Listen to this. Absolutely exhausted after spending 15 hours in a polling station yesterday. Brilliant. Was it busy? Julie, we need to know. Was it busy? Was it really crammed? Oh, it's fantastic. How exciting. How exciting. 15 minutes. Well done, you, Julie Voice, which means, there we go, which means, of course, that you went to the Bowls Club. I was thinking of you, Julie Voice, because I've got another big funeral coming up on Monday. So I can't do the show Monday. And the lady who passed into her 90s was playing bowls. Yeah. Gives us hope, doesn't it? Well, that's amazing. Here we go. What's Emma Webb saying? Hello there. Hello, Emma Webb. Hello. What a funny day, dear. What a funny day. He says with a dodgy stick, I'm in pain, but laughing through it. That's the drugs, Em. That'll be the drugs you're on, sweetheart. That's what's going on. Chrissy Richards. Boy, you're chatty today. This is marvellous. I love it. Well, I hope he doesn't do the one thing that was reported in the news last year. Keir Starmer said he wouldn't pay the pensions of people who didn't live in the UK. He can't do that, can he? I don't know. You're asking me? You're asking me? I can just about remember my name most days. Right. Can he do it? Who the hell knows? I don't think he will. And getting back to polling station HQ, Julie Voice, not especially busy, but steady all day. Tell me, Julie, did everybody bring photo ID? Did anybody try to vote twice? You get the scoops here on the Midday Show. What is this? It's the Zapane, love. Okay, I don't know what you're on. I'll have a pint of it intravenously, please. Right. So here's the thing. This is the image I can't forgive, and I don't know how you feel about this. When Prince Philip died, and as I said, I met him twice, and he scared the hell out of me. He was a very imposing fellow, right? Very imposing. I'll come to you in a minute, Graham. There was a shocking image of the late magnificent Queen Elizabeth II, dressed in black, in mourning at the service, on her own, because of COVID. All right? Not that she had COVID, because of all the restrictions. On the same day. that Tory party people were partying like hell. And that made me sick to my stomach. This was a woman who had dedicated 60 years of her life plus to unparalleled service. Unparalleled. She was magnificent, right? They make this elderly woman sit on her own and they're whooping it up behind the scenes. Well, screw them. Shocking. And I would say that of any party that did that. Shocking. And yes, I know Keir Starmer had a ham and cheese party or something at the same time where we were all in lockdown behaving like a bunch of freaking lemmings trying to do our best, right? All right. Let's get back to your comment. I'm loving your comments. Diane Abbott. Oh, Christ. Diane Abbott will be the mother. I think there's a word missing after that. Diane Abbott will be the mother of the House as the longest serving female MP. Yeah, good luck with that. Photo ID for everyone. No problem at all. Excellent. Excellent, because we've got to get rid of voter fraud. Tower Hamlets. I went to Sutton Sound Lounge last night. Okay, don't know what that means. They were all queuing outside the polling station. I've never seen a queue like it before outside a polling station. Well, when I voted, while Ebony was doing a protest vote in the kitchen, it wasn't a queue, but it was a nice, steady stream. They're so polite. I love voting. I love it. And, you know, people who don't vote, I say this, and I've always said this, and I've always maintained it. If you didn't get off your ass and vote, then shut up for the next 5 years, right? You have no right to criticize anything because you had the opportunity to vote. Now, if you voted and you didn't like it, say what you like. Absolutely. We live in a democracy. But if you couldn't be bothered to vote, then shut the hell up because you had your chance. You couldn't be bothered. You were too lazy. That's it. It's your problem. You've got nothing to say for the next 5 years or so. I think that's true. You know, people died so people could vote. Suffragettes, so women could vote. I should have always had the vote. I mean, madness, but there you go. But people died so you could have democracy. You look around the world, how many places don't have democracy? Gaza. But anyway, there we go. So, right, Kimi Lashmar. Well, duh, JC and NF will make Parliament NF. Who's? Well, duh. Oh, duh is Diane Abbott, JC Corbyn, and NF. Who's NF? Neil Fox, Norman Fowler. Who's NF? Kimmy, who's NF? No idea. Absolutely no idea. But anyway, that was the image I just can't get that image out of my mind of Her Majesty, the late Majesty. Oh, Nigel will be brilliant. Nigel Farage. NF is Nigel Farage. Okay. Nigel Farage, finally an MP. Yeah, he's going to kick ass. Like him or loathe him, he speaks on behalf of many, many people. Not everybody. No good screaming, he doesn't speak for me. I know that, but he does speak for a lot of people. Whether you like him, whether you hate him. I don't know. I tell you what was great. Was Rishi Sunak's speech. By the way, did you notice that Liz Truss, that professional idiot, did not even make a loser's speech? You know, when the candidates lose and they say, "Oh, good luck to Fred Smith," or whoever it is, Fred West, whoever's taking over. Oh no, good. Yes, there is a God. Oh, Graham, you have made my day. I'm gutted that George Galloway lost his seat in Rochdale. Oh, well, it'll be the Jews. There's probably one in Rochdale hiding somewhere. Oh, poor old George. Well, he can go back to licking cream and cat milk. And ghastly. I'm very careful. He's highly litigious. He put a tiny radio station that Phil Dave was involved with many years ago out of it. He sued them. He's not a nice fellow. I used to worry that I would meet George Galloway and I would both be on the same radio station. And it was before they moved. And there was a narrow staircase to get up in the building. And I had this dread that he'd be coming down the stairs as I was going up the stairs. And I'd have to say to myself, Russell, don't say anything. Don't. But I'm not sure I would be able to control myself. Anyway, poor old George. Bye. Thanks. Don't let the door hit you on the arse on the way out. Anyway, I thought what was nice was Rishi Sunak's speech. I thought it was gentlemanly. I thought it was heartfelt. And he said some of the things. He said, I'm very sorry. Yep. He said the country has sent a clear signal. Well, if you lose 250 seats and the other party gains 211 seats, that's a pretty clear signal to me. Yep. He said, the other thing I really admired that he said was, I've heard your anger and I've heard your disappointment. To which I say, yes, but too little too late. I don't know what the hell you were doing. God only knows. He'll be stepping down as leader of the Tory party, but the Tory party is going to be in the boondocks for years now. It's a fantasy, it's a fantasy. The nearest fantasy, I can tell you the nearest fantasy to that. Some time ago, I got messaged by some people. I didn't know them. All right, just to be clear, I didn't know them. And they used to be Gary Glitter's. Do you remember it was Gary Glitter and the Glitter Band? Do you remember the Glitter Band? They had two drummers, and they were pretty good house band, right? Pretty good. And they said, all this stuff with Gary has really hit us hard. Do you think you could help? True, I promise. It was all on emails. I don't know. They tracked me down. God knows why. And I said, no. I said, you might as well call yourself the Adolf Hitler Band. It's not going to help. You're doomed. Got the name Glitter attached to you. You're done. It's over. Forget it. Find another job. Find another name, or just do something else. But there's absolutely no way that I even give it 10 seconds of thought. And they were very nice people. I'm not saying they weren't nice people, but that's to say the Conservatives, you're done now for God knows how long. I mean, really. And it'll be, if Nigel does what he says he's going to do, it'll be Nigel will be the opposition eventually. He said something, Rishi Sunak, he said, we're leaving this country safer, stronger, and more secure. Are you in central London on a Saturday? Safer, stronger, and more secure. Less safe, more knife crime, more hate marches, more madness. No, we're not safer, we're not stronger, and we're not more secure. We're none of those things. But he did say something very nice, which I thought was very, can I say gentlemanly anymore? Very gallant. Very gallant. Starmer's success will be all our successes. And I thought that was a really, really decent thing to say. Starmer's success will be all our success. And then he said, whatever our political difference is, that Keir Starmer is a decent man who I respect. There you go. That is really how politics should be. Once the screaming and the shouting and everything else is on the public side, they are people. So unless it's Jeremy Corbyn, obviously, or George Galloway, they're decent human beings. They're not racist maniacs. They're not haters. They believe it. Dave Sleet. Happy birthday to A&A, by the way. Dave Sleet, greetings one and all. Okay, why not? What have we got? Yeah, I already mentioned that, GP. Jeremy Corbyn held his seat as an independent. Well, he would. They love him there. They loved Goering. Kimi Lashmar. But that Khan's problem. I bet Mrs. Sunak hopes Mrs. Sunak will be on the first plane to Los Angeles faster than you can say Diane Abbott. She'll be that. They'll be packed, right? I mean, they're not going to go. Yeah, I mean, you don't think the Sunaks are going, oh, Christ, sweetheart, we lost. I didn't see that coming. Did you? We're going to have to pack. Call Pickfords. We're going to have to. No, they probably started packing like months, but weeks and weeks and weeks ago. They started, do we need that? Sod it, leave it. Let Keir have it. What is it? Oh, but it's my favorite fondue set. Keir can have it. He'll like it. What everybody says, the thing that never fails to amaze me, is when you meet some of these people. And in the press, they're portrayed as monsters and they're portrayed as this, that, and the other. When you actually meet them, they're nothing like that at all. I was at a dinner, all right? And who comes up and sits right next to me at the table? Ken Livingstone. Ken freaking Livingstone, right? My heart sank. I thought, oh my God, this is like, you know, Ken Livingstone. We had the most wonderful evening. I mean, it's shocking. It's shocking. It shocked me. Because instead of this sort of foaming at the mouth character that he had been, he's not very well at the moment, I understand, but we had the most charming evening. He was funny. He was articulate. He was the most delightful dinner companion. I couldn't believe it. And that shows my prejudices, and it shows him as well. You know, it's a show. You don't think Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons wander around dressed in face paint and, you know, 8-inch platforms with dragons on their feet. No, they're just people when they're off stage. That's what can you do? Right, what have we got here? Grandpa, once England lose against Switzerland and Southgate is sacked, Rishi Sunak. Why did I fall into this trap? I've started, so I'll finish. Rishi Sunak could be the next England manager. Everything go down the middle as you don't like the left wing or the right wing. That's right. Graham, I give you that. That's good. I don't follow the I don't follow sport at all, in the least. So you know, every time I switch on TV, if I'm having my dinner or whatever, and I look at, oh, it's tennis. Well, I don't watch tennis. Good luck to them. It's love it. People absolutely love it. I don't watch it. Football, I never watch football. It's fine. People adore it. It's cool. I don't have a problem with that. There's a million other channels. It's the thing I don't get. It's the thing I don't get, right? People moaning and bitching about it, right? You got, what, 500 channels to choose from? Arguably more. Go onto Netflix, go onto Amazon, go onto, what's it called? BBC, whatever the hell the website's called. I can't remember. BBC Sounds or something. You got so much choice. Don't moan. If people love football, let them watch football. People love tennis, let them watch tennis. It doesn't affect me. I don't understand that sort of thing. Well, Dave Slate says this. Ken Livingstone was one of the true masters of the media messaging. He understood the game. Oh, he understood it perfectly. I ran into him again at Talk. I was working at Talk TV. I was doing a show there, and I ran into him in the lobby, and we had a chat. And you know, you kind of come with all your preconceived notions. This guy's going to be horrible. He's going to do this. They're nothing like that. And I suspect, I've never met him, that Keir Starmer is probably a thoroughly decent guy as a human being. Do I think that he let the Rotherham grooming gangs, you know, make your own mind up? Who knows what goes on there? But I think as a person, he's probably, I mean, you know, I think if he sat down and we had one of our Saturday morning coffees, me, Ray and Colin, and Keir came along, I think it'd be a delightful addition. I do. I think it'd be I think he's a perfectly decent guy. What the rest of the pie, I do not want to sit down with the number two, his number, Deputy Prime Minister. I think she's bonkers. But, hey, there's two ways this is going to go, right, gang? Two ways this is going to go, in my humble opinion. And I'm not a political analyst in the least. Number one, the Labour Party, he's got such an enormous majority, like 300 seats, just under 300 seats, right? He can bring in the policies that he wants and keep everybody under order because he was the guy they voted in. Yeah, that's the one thing. He can keep it sane. Or, as is the way so often, they'll dump him in about 3.5 minutes and bring in some raving, foaming at the mouth, swivel-eyed lunatic, and we become, you know, like Cambodia under Pol Pot. Those are the two choices. I'm going to go with he's got a steady hand on the tiller. Fascinatingly, though, if you looked at the policies they were pretty similar. They weren't really that radically different. That's the truth. That's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. But you know, when you've had your snout in the trough so blatantly, it's time to go. I never thought I'd say that. It's time to go. You can't do it. You can't give the finger to the public constantly and just laugh at them and just think, well, I mean, Christ. I look at Michelle Mone on a yacht and everything, and I think, well, for God's sake, that really pisses me off. David Lammy, a professional idiot. Every time I see David Lammy, I realize somewhere in Britain a village is missing its idiot. David Lammy is going to be the next foreign secretary. God help us with that. He really is stupid. But the Minister of Men's Services, because men can grow a cervix. Jesus Christ, learn some biology, will you? I like Starmer. I don't dislike Starmer at all. And I think the bottom line, give the guy a chance. Give the guy a chance. If you've had 14 years to get something right and you have comprehensively effed it up time and time and time and time again and done nothing, let somebody else have a go. I never thought I'd say that, but it's kind of my view. Look, we are where we are. It is what it is. That's it. Or be like Chrissy Richards and just let's go somewhere. I was watching my best mate Ray Gelato. He does a little video when he's on tour. He's just arrived in Italy. He was having an espresso, his first espresso of the day in Naples. The sun was shining. He's sitting in the cafe, and I go, yeah, that looks pretty damn tempting. Talking of tempting, I can't believe I said that. Talking of things that are delightful, things that are light, things that bring sunshine into our life, things that are elegant, things that are refreshingly fresh. She's here. Chantal Rickards OBE. Yay!
Yeah, forget all of those things. I am full of sunshine today.
What? You're what?
I'm full of sunshine.
Why? What's going on?
Because I sat there this morning and in the middle of the night and at 10 o'clock last night thinking, at least we have a system that works.
Yes.
We had a choice between two well-educated, fairly sensible human beings.
Yes,
at least we are not America.
Oh, Christ almighty. Jeez. Are they in a mess?
I know. Well, we've had some crazy moments on TV since we last spoke to each other, from Biden's debate to Glastonbury to Wimbledon to election night. And actually, I feel hopeful for the country because I think that we've made a decision. It was democratic. It was done legally. It was done fairly. Yes. And now we just have to put our best foot forward and just get on with it.
Well, that's exactly what you're right. And that's exactly what I summed up with. You didn't think I was going to say that, but it's really how I feel. We've all voted.
Yeah.
I voted for the person I thought was best for the area.
Yeah.
Not saying any more. Best with a proven track record, who lives in the area and works hard. There's somebody else that I've been behind the scenes supporting, who does a brilliant job for his area. I don't like everything he says, but he's there, and I know, and I've supported, him behind the scenes. So two completely different parties, may I say? No, because I believe in being a libertarian and giving the best to the area for people who know the area. Is so important. That's what I think. That's how people get on in their own, in their own way. And that's how we can all be in peace. You lived in America. I lived in America, right? We lived there for about the same kind of time. I mean, not at the same time, but about the same length of time. Have you ever, and I've watched a lot of presidential debate, have you ever seen a car crash like that first debate? Ever?
Never. That's why I love television, because it just offers you so many crazy moments. I mean, the presidential debate was devised as a television program. It wasn't devised to show people anything other. You know, it wasn't there to really tax the people at all. It was a television construct, and actually was very badly constructed.
Oh, yeah.
And also for people who are not used to debating, you know, they never do that thing that we do in Parliament, where, you know, Prime Minister stands up and he thumps the table, and then the opposition leader stands up and he thumps the table, and they have a proper debate.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, I mean, you know, it's sort of as good as we can make.
They wave the order papers.
In America, they don't have anything like that, so they're not used to debating. So suddenly they have to go on television. So Trump was always going to come out a bit better because he's a TV performer. He knows how to do it. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was fascinating. I mean, I was nearly in tears by the end. I just like Grandpa, just thinking, no, it's time to shuffle off to bed with the Horlicks.
Let me ask you this.
So,
let me ask you. This is a serious question, right? Jill Biden. Now, I can't vote, so I got no skin in the game. All right. And this is just from a human perspective. Put politics to one side. Jill Biden, who rams down the throat, I'm Dr. Jill Biden. Well, as I always say, so was Joseph Mengele. I don't want him looking after me either. Thank you. So Dr. Jill Biden, how can you put someone you supposedly love through such global humiliation?
I know.
How could you do that?
Yeah.
I find it despicable. And it wouldn't matter what party they stood for. They could stand for the Tupperware party. I don't care. It's awful.
I know.
It's humiliating
in so many ways. But, you know, the next 4 months are going to be very interesting until we get to the American election. But at least we've got our election out.
Our one is done, and it was fair, and it was above board, and it was proper, and democracy was seen to be in action. And unlike America, people in Britain go, I accept that result. We had a proper democratic, where people got off their backsides, went to their local polling stations, met lovely ladies and gentlemen behind the little trestle tables. We did our little thing with our little stubby pencils, and we feel that was fair. You know, we're not going to go rioting in Downing Street saying, well, it wasn't. No, we accept that. That's the British way. That's the British way. Dave Sleet says this about Biden's wife, and I agree. Lady Macbeth. Absolutely, Lady Macbeth. They've got. Let me just ask you this, because you've got a global view on most things. I know we're here to discuss entertainment. We're going to lighten the mood in a sec. But no, I promise. But they're completely stuffed, aren't they? They've either got the only way I could see out of this. See what you think. This was the only way I could see they could get out of this, is saying, oh, suddenly he's very ill. Make up some bullshit illness. And he has to retire. Nothing about dementia.
Yeah.
He's very ill. Oh, then they've got to find somebody else. So they're going to bring in that professional buffoon, Kamala Harris, who I had great hopes for. She's an idiot. And then they've got to find a running mate. And I think they could dig up Hillary, I didn't kill myself, Clinton.
They won't go there. They don't like women. I mean, they're still behind. We've had 3 female prime ministers in this country since 1979. Actually, strangely, all from the Tory party. But in America, they have not had a female president. And I'm sure that part of the reason Hillary didn't get in is because she was a woman. America is more of a misogynist society than the United Kingdom. I mean, emotionally and socially, we are so much more progressive than Americans.
That's true.
So Kamala's not going to cut it. I mean,
she hasn't got the. I mean, she hasn't got the brains.
It needs to be a rock star like Gavin Newsom, who is the guy from
the Californian guy,
governor of California. You know, he's good looking, he's articulate, he's
managed to destroy Los Angeles and San Francisco. Apart from that, he's doing a grand job.
It's an impossible job. Any way you look at it, it's an impossible job. But
if you compare Kamala Harris to the future Mrs. Kane, Carrie Lake, you'll see she's someone who understands the media.
Oh dear.
Holy moly. What have we got here? I'm going to have a quick look. This is from Dave Sleet. It's often overlooked that Keir Starmer put Nazir Afal, OBE, in charge of tackling violence against women and girls and prosecuting the grooming gangs, which ended the fear of legally taking on the racial dynamic. Oh, I get what you're saying. Now,
yes,
let's put politics to one side for 20 seconds.
Yes.
And discuss movies. So your pal, who's now become my pal.
Your pal, exactly. I share pals.
Well, he's a lovely fellow called Julian Alcantara. Julian Alcantara. He doesn't talk like that, but he does. It does when he pronounces his surname. So I say Alcantara, and when he introduces it, Julian Alcantara, he's Portuguese. Initially, you wouldn't know because he speaks very, very beautifully. Invited me to go and see the new on the big screen. Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F, as it's called.
Correct.
I gotta tell you, you'll hate it. I loved it. loved it. I put it up on Facebook when I was able to get to my laptop, and the number of people who said, "Oh my God, we love this!" The audience went wild. We went.
Oh, really?
The audience were whooping and cheering, and there was. Imagine. Oh, I know you don't like these things, but I love them.
No, you're wrong about this. And I watched it this morning.
Oh, God, did you?
No, you carry on because I wanted to set up our chat today with you doing the review of the film, and then we'll compare notes.
All your favorite 1980s action films, right? With no VFX, no computer graphic. What you see is what they did, right? So if there's a car crash, the car crashes. If there's a helicopter flying along, the street, it's flying along the street. It's not all horrible computer graphics, some of which are just pants. So Eddie Murphy, never better. I love the fact that they acknowledge he's in his, I don't know, is he late 50s, early 60s? Because his daughter's 32 in the film. Yeah. I don't mean his actual daughter. I mean the actress playing a daughter says she's 32.
Well, the original film, because I did do some prep this morning, the original film was 40 years ago.
I know.
40.
40. How old does everyone feel? Not you. You're immortal. Me. I'm heading to the end. But 40 years, where's that 40 years gone? In my case, down the toilet mainly. But it's a terrific movie. And the guy who directed it, whose name gone right out of my head, has never done a movie before. Loads of fabulous commercials, including, according to Julian, he did all the John Lewis commercials as well. Did those ones.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
And Julian gets all this right. He's a whiz. He's a whiz on everything. The facts he has at his fingertips are ludicrous. If you like, they've taken like an 1980s, they've given it that look, but brought it right up to 2024. If you like that sort of thing, you will love this movie. It's called Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. If you didn't like those films, you won't like them anymore.
Yeah.
But if you did, you'll love this.
It's got the iconic music. It's got the comedy, it's got the comedy one-liners.
Yeah.
It's got the jeopardy with the partner, the jeopardy with the daughter, the jeopardy with the retiring boss, the dirty cop or the not so dirty cop. I mean, it's got all the things that you expect, all rammed into a 90. I think it's just over 90 minutes. Netflix film, and it came out on Netflix 24 hours ago.
Yeah, so Thursday.
I mean, there's nothing not to like. It is stuff and nonsense and froth and bubble.
Absolutely.
And delightful for all of those things. And the action, particularly, I think is very good.
Oh, my God. Because somebody on Facebook said, well, that wasn't a real helicopter flying. And then immediately Julian or I think somebody from America as well, who does stunt work, did all the stunt work and all the Terminator movies. I'm a big fan of this guy. Never met him, but I'm in awe of him. And he said, no, this was the guy who, North, his name's North, and this was the guy who flew it. So when you see it skimming along the road in LA, it's skimming along the road in LA. That's what it's great. Yeah. Absolutely great. And when John Gordon-Levitt and Eddie Murphy are in the helicopter, normally they do it against green screen. And it's like, oh no, we're in a helicopter. No, they were on a rig. They were on a rig and being slung about. So it looks smart. If you like. Just want 90 minutes to forget your troubles. That's it. That's the movie for you.
And
woman behind me in the cinema. Yeah. Sort of the Mayfair screen room. And every time somebody got shot, going, whoa! Yeah. Wow. They were loving it. Absolutely. Got a huge round of applause.
Well, that's very
massive. Good. Yeah, that was it. It was great fun.
Well, one of the car crashes made me, slightly wistful. Not that I get very nostalgic for LA, but I am going out on Tuesday for a few days.
Are you?
But one of the car crashes was in front of my bank, and I went, "Oh my God, there's my bank!" On Beverly, Wilshire. I recognized it immediately.
Was there a blonde woman on a bicycle going, "Oh no, there's my bank"?
No, there wasn't. No.
The only person on a bicycle in Los Angeles is on screen now. That's the only person on a bicycle. I never saw any other bicycles. I think you're incredibly brave because they don't know how to drive. Not a clue. They have no idea how to drive in LA.
They definitely don't know how to drive.
They are the world's worst drivers ever. Ever.
No. Yeah. And the roads are terrible. But anyway, besides... but I will report back next week about...
How long are you gone for?
4 nights in LA and then a night on the plane on the way back.
Oh, God, you'll be exhausted.
I'll be fine.
Are we allowed to know? Is it a charity thing? Is it an event?
Well, sort of and sort of not. I'm going for the BAFTA Student Awards.
Oh, God, it's come round again. Wow.
Yeah, coming around again. So next Friday night at the Mayborn Hotel in Beverly Hills.
Mayborn Hotel. Will we be seeing Mr. Russ King? Will he be official?
Well, actually, he's in the UK at the moment. So we're trying to find a point where we're both in the same place at the same time.
Nice man. I'm very fond of Ross. He's a very lovely. He's a lovely fellow. Nice. Yeah. I like him. He's a nice guy.
No, it's good fun.
Good fun. Right. What have you been seeing? Because I've seen nothing.
Well, occasionally I talk about things that are on different channels, and I raved about this program, which is now in its 3rd series, and I really want everybody who hasn't seen The Bear on Disney.
Oh, The Bear, yes.
So if you haven't seen it, go and do season 1, then do season 2, and season 3 arrived on our screens about 3 or 4 days ago.
What's it on?
It's on Disney Plus.
Ooh, Disney.
Only £4.99 a month.
Only. You haven't seen my last bank statement, have you?
So if you can afford it, just buy a month over the summer holidays and then just cram everything. But
you can see Only Murders in the Building as well. That's worth the money on its own.
Exactly. So that's definitely worth £4.99 of your hard-earned money.
Love that show.
Yeah. So The Bear is back, and The Bear with the lead character is a chef. He goes back to Chicago to rescue the sandwich shop that his brother had created, but his brother had sadly taken his own life.
Ooh.
In the meantime, the lead character was working in the most upscale restaurant in New York and leaves that to go back to Chicago to reinvigorate the sandwich shop. So that happens in season 1.
Because that would happen, obvious. That would happen.
One has to suspend a little.
Okay, I suspend everything.
So season 2 is about trying to make everything better. It's so beautifully played. I can't even begin to tell you how beautiful the cast is. And season 3, we're right on the edge of him going, okay, I'm now going to try a luxury restaurant myself on my own in, it's crunch time in Chicago. And so it opens, it's a rather strange opening sequence for season 3 on the first episode. But it just reminded me of how wonderful it is and how brilliant the acting is and very clever writing. And it's won a ton of awards in the last 2 years. And I'm just sort of putting it out there, just saying, if you haven't seen The Bear, it's really worth watching. And season 3 has just arrived. So it's time to go and, download it, put it on the iPad and take it on holiday with you.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's just
excellent.
Yeah.
I know I keep going on about it, but if you like action films, if you don't like action films, don't watch this. But Sisu, I keep going on. I thought it was just one of the best action films ever.
Okay.
Tucked away, you'll find it somewhere. SISU. It's in England. It's in English. I think it's American made. It's set in Finland, end of World War II. And the leading character has 2 lines, and they don't come until right at the end of the movie.
No.
Yeah. He's on screen every shot, and he has 2 lines. It's so good. Because you don't know where it's going.
Wow.
It's great. I loved it. But if you don't like action films, don't watch it. If you love action films, it's the best.
Well, I hope the writer wasn't being paid by the word.
No, there's plenty of dialogue. There's plenty of dialogue. Mostly, kill him. Mostly that. Shoot.
Oh.
But no, it's great. It's really
okay.
It's really,
I'll look
really
out for that. Yeah. And then I found something that is worth watching, if only to be able to slightly understand something called NFTs, which everybody was talking about.
Oh God,
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Non-fungible tokens.
Is that what it is? Say that again. I've never known what it stood for.
Non-fungible tokens.
Fungible.
Yeah, fungible means that you can change it from one thing to another, but non-fungible clearly means you can't change it. So you can't
fungible. Is that even a word?
Fungible is definitely a word.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we could look it up. Phil Dave would know it.
Oh, Phil knows everything.
He does know everything. He's such a brain box.
He is a brain box. But
anyway, there's an interesting documentary on BBC Two. And it's sort of about pop culture, but it's also not about pop culture, but it's also about how stupid human beings can be. And it's something called the Stormtrooper Scandal. And it's about a young guy who's an art curator. He's British. This is a documentary, so this is a true story. And he'd got the Stormtrooper helmets.
Oh, God.
And he was putting them into exhibitions, and he would send them off to very famous artists like Damien Hirst and say, I'm going to put these into an exhibition to make money for charity. Will you paint the version, the Damien Hirst version of the Stormtrooper helmet? So he'd send them a helmet, and then it would come back painted with pink spots all over it. And that was the Damien Hirst one. Actually, not a bad idea. He made quite a lot of money for charity, but all the money was going to charity. And then this bloke suddenly decides that actually what he's going to do is he is going to turn photographs. So basically the idea is you take a photograph of one of these helmets, and then you sell that digital copy of the photograph, and that is done as an NFT so that nobody else can have the first and only version of the photograph of the helmet. None of this makes sense.
No, it's crap.
None of it makes
complete sense. Rubbish. But anyway, go on.
Complete rubbish. Anyway, so he then says, right, I'm going to do an enormous sale, and I'm going to sell off all of the photographs of these 100 helmets that have been painted by incredibly famous people. Right. But never does it occur to him that there's something called intellectual property. Now, it literally doesn't occur to him. And so he suddenly has this sale online. Honestly, you would not believe how stupid people are.
No, I really would. I really would believe it.
Anyway, it is a cautionary tale. And as you know, I like a cautionary tale.
Well, you do.
And I would say, if you're going to play around with anybody's intellectual property, know where you stand before you start trying to make money out of somebody else's art.
So I presume he got sued by left, right, and centre.
Everybody went bonkers. But most particularly, the people who went bonkers were the people who bought the tokens. The whole lot were sold in 5 seconds. By people who wanted in, and they wanted to buy the Damien Hirst picture. This is just a digital picture.
Well, then what do you do with it? God,
and a digital picture, actually, yes, it would be watermarked. So in theory, it's, number 1 of 1, as it were.
Yeah. Right.
But as you and I know, in the digital world, you can replicate anything.
And it's identical. Sod all. It means sod all. It means nothing.
Anyway, if you just want to see something that you just sit there and you go, oh my God, there are lots of really stupid people out there. Then watch it. It's called the Stormtrooper Scandal. And it's on BBC Two, and it came out about 10 days ago. But it's quite fun. It's rather silly, watch it whilst you're doing the gardening or the ironing or something.
The channel I watch, and I can't remember the guy's name. He's a young guy out in America, and he goes up to people driving fabulous cars and goes, "Hey, I love your car. What do you do for a living?" And most people are really into it, and they go, "Oh, I'm president of so and so, or I am Mr. Lamborghini," or they do say. Some people of dubious, certainly young women, go, "I don't want to talk to you." You know exactly what they do for a living, right? Exactly. And some just say, "Yeah, I got a sugar daddy," and I'm like, "Oh, Jesus, you're driving a Lamborghini? You must be good." Anyway, one guy It must be great, actually. And one guy, he's driving them like, these cars are like $300,000 plus.
Wow.
They're all fabulous Ferraris and marvelous. He goes, "Hey, I love your car. What do you do for a living?" And he went, "Oh, I sell NFTs." I didn't know what it was. And he went, "Oh," he says, "Yes, I sell NFT property." Now, if you think,
what?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Young guy. If you think the idea that you've just explained, Chantal, of I'm going to take a picture of a thing, I'm going to sell this picture, and it goes, this guy is selling, and this was a big deal, selling real estate digital. It doesn't exist, obviously.
Okay,
it's on sense. It's like saying, I'm going to play Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto, and you can have that mall or that strip mall or whatever it is. It doesn't exist in real life. So you're buying a digital property that was going for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm going, how drugged up are you before you buy nothing? Nothing.
You're buying some pixels. It makes no sense.
You're buying pixels. It got to the stage, and I don't know if you knew this, where I thought, well, the world really has gone mad. When huge stores like Nike and all Adidas were opening digital stores in digital shopping malls that didn't exist. And I'm going, what the hell is... God, talk about Emperor's New Clothes.
Digital T-shirts that you couldn't wear.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I get the fact that the Stormtrooper scandal or whatever, I get how that happens when you're just, it's madness, isn't it? It's just complete, utter madness.
I think keep your digital money in your digital pocket and leave it there.
And just don't. Just don't.
Just don't.
I've never understood. I have to ask you this. You're a very sophisticated woman of the world, which you are. Which you are. Come on. Right? You know the great and the good. I have never understood digital currency ever.
Yeah.
It's been explained to me 1,000 times. I still don't get it. It's like, so you're buying nothing really. You got nothing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't work for me. Anyway, I've got a new cozy crime for you on the BBC.
Oh, hooray. Yes. Hooray.
It started out life. Actually, it was written 4 years ago as a book by a British writer who was, I think, 27 at the time. This girl is really going some because she wrote some terrific set of books. And the first one has been turned into a 6-part series for the BBC. And it's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Oh,
and it's a young woman of the lead character. She's 17 years old. She's at school. She loves trying to solve, crimes.
Nancy Drew.
It's Nancy Drew. It's sort of Enid Blyton meets Nancy Drew meets the modern day. And actually, the character is lovely. Very nice young actress who I didn't know at all, but I'm sure will go places. And she is trying to investigate the murder-suicide of 2 of her school colleagues from 5 years earlier. And actually, the tale itself is good. The acting is good. The scripts are really tight. And I think it's going to be lovely. I've only watched the first episode. It's been very well reviewed by...
Where do we do this? So I have to write it down because everybody always asks.
BBC One.
Hang on, pen.
So it's on the BBC iPlayer. And it's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And they're from books by a girl called Holly Jackson. So they're sort of youth programs, but forget that because they're good enough for grown-ups.
Oh, good. Good for that. Because I can't take any more youth.
Yeah. 6-parter. And it started 3 days ago, I think, on the BBC. But nicely reviewed and well put together. And I think the writer particularly is going to go a long way.
Oh, totally. Although my agent said, the publishers are now saying, don't do cozy crime. I said, but that's what I'm writing. You know that I've been writing this for the last, God knows. I am in such a depression. I can't even begin to get out of it. So tell me, have you enjoyed Douglas is Cancelled?
Oh, I watched, we talked about it last Friday.
Yeah.
And as soon as we switched off, I literally got myself a cup of tea and a piece of cake, and I went and binged the rest of them.
Oh.
So I just did the whole thing immediately.
Worth it? Definitely good?
It's good. It gets, in a funny sort of way, it starts quite funny, and it gets darker and bleaker. Ooh. And I'm not to say that that's a bad thing. In some ways, it becomes more realistic. Yes. Because it sort of reminds me too much of people I grew up with in television, and it starts getting a little bit Me Too-ish, and for various reasons, it doesn't paint television or the people in television in their best light. But I felt quite uncomfortable. Now that's a good thing, because anything that sort of pushes me to the edge, I think, well, if it's resonating with me, I'm definitely going to.
You felt uncomfortable because, I just want to be clear, you felt uncomfortable because you thought, I recognize those people, I've worked with them, or you thought, no, this is ridiculous, they're being painted as.
No, I recognize the people, I recognize the situations, and I could see how somebody could say something just, that was slightly off color now at a private event that would then come back to haunt them later on. So
how do you feel? Yeah. All right, you're a very sociable person. You've been very kind to me, inviting me over to your place, gazillion times, and there's always interesting, notable people there, right? It's a private event. We're in your house or we're in your garden, and somebody says something. Do you feel, I'm not going to bias this, do you feel it stays at number 3, the High Street, Wandsworth, or do you think, no, well, they're a public, because I have a very strong view on this, because I think my view, I'm giving you time to answer, is it's outrageous. If somebody says something to you privately, it's private. That's the end of it. Yeah. I would never, ever share that confidence.
No.
Or disseminate that remark, ever. Never do.
No, I completely agree. A private event is a private event. Yeah. And the last thing you want to do is go and tweet about something that somebody said, because you're going to inflict pain on somebody somewhere.
Precisely.
That's not
why do it for 10 seconds of, oh, look at me, I was at a party and somebody said, like, screw you.
Yeah.
What a shitty thing to do. Yeah. Sorry, that's how I feel about it.
I mean, all the years that I worked on Through the Keyhole, and I would spend weeks on end in celebrities' homes, and I learned an awful lot of private things. But
what were you doing, you sneaky blonde woman?
I was given free access to people's homes, and so.
Would you go through the cupboards? What did you do? God, I'd love that job. That'd be look at that.
But there were lots of things I found, or I learned, or I came across by mistake that I have never repeated and never will.
No. And you are, I mean, I've known you many years since we worked together at Variety, but you've never disclosed anything to me that's salacious, which is why you're so boring. I mean, it's really why I'm bloody annoyed, to be honest with you.
I'm sure I must have done.
Well, but the thing is, I think there is a circle of, what you use the phrase, I'm using your phrase, a circle of trust. And if people say things and do things, then it should not be repeated. That's what really annoyed me. I watched episode 1 and I hated the Karen Gillan character so much. I don't know what happens. Please don't tell me. She's 5'11" tall. Did you know that? 5 foot in real life. She's 5 foot. I'm a big fan of her. I think she's terrific. I've always liked the role she's played. I think she's very talented. But I thought, oh God, if we really got to that stage, you're off screen, you're having a private time. Blimey, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's not right.
Tricky.
Anyway. Alexander Pope had it when I studied it for A-level, the rape of the lock. It's only that. It's the rape of the lock brought into 2024.
I've never read The Rape of the Lock.
The Rape of the Lock, the basis of The Rape of the Lock, and it's because even with the dramatic title, is a woman gets her hair. Effectively, I'm cutting it really down because it's a long poem. Yeah. And I loved it at the time. I loved Alexander Pope. I just loved his satire. There's a surprise. She had a bit of a haircut.
Yes.
And that's it. And she goes bananas that a bit of her hair's been cut at the hairdresser's or something. And I'm seriously, no, that's basically the essence of the rape of the lock. And what he's saying is, yeah, this is how things get completely out of hand. She's making a mountain out of a molehill. She had a bit of haircut. That's the essence. He was a genius writer.
Oh my God.
Just fantastic.
Okay. All right.
That's what it's about, you know. It's all very Swiftian as well. I mean, it's very Swiftian. This kind of whole thing. It's nothing new. What we're seeing is a horrible development of how we have no privacy.
Yeah.
But it's nothing new. You know, Jonathan Swift was writing about Alexander Pope was writing about it. It's satire. That's what it is, really. Isn't it?
I enjoy the satire, and obviously the story that we were talking about, the Douglas is cancelled. A lot of it is satire. But it's very close to the bone inside.
It's so you know, he's having lunch with his agent and he says, phone me because I hate my agent. Simon Russell Beale, who's like God, you know, just the most oh God, what an actor. I was like, just brilliant. In Lehman trilogy, I'll never forget that as long as I live, one of the greatest things ever. And he just says, you know, he's looking for help. And he says, well, we'll do a thing and we'll just say this, that, and the other, and we'll fight, you know, and you'll be gone. He says, well, how does that help? He says, well, it helps me. I thought, yeah, that's an agent. That is showbiz in a nutshell.
Indeed.
We'll protect the brand, we'll protect our agency, and we're throwing you under the bus. Bye-bye.
Well, there are a couple of agents in LA who decided to put Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron into a romantic comedy. I don't normally talk about things I don't like, but it popped up on Netflix this week, and it's called A Family Affair, and it's said, you know, sexy, romantic, you know, electrifying. And I thought, okay,
electrifying.
I know, I've got to give this a go. And literally,
you know, when you see electrify, you know it's shit. That's it. Let's cut to the chase. That's what it is. Go on then. Is it terrible?
All I can say is the agents should never have let them leave the building. I mean, they should have stayed at home, the pair of them. And they're both old enough to know.
Yeah, they've done a million films between them. Jeez. Yeah.
And it's a sort of, you know, he's a movie star, she's a writer, her husband's dead, there's an age-inappropriate relationship between them, and it's the least sexy romantic film I have ever seen in my entire life.
Tell me, was it electrifying?
No,
of course not. It was rubbish. Nicole Kidman, who I had the pleasure of meeting, was charming.
Yeah,
and I always thought she was beautiful. Now she can't move her face, so we have no idea what the hell she's feeling, do we? We don't. She can do the whole range of emotions from A to A. I mean, we don't know what she can.
Ooh, meow meow, Mr. Pussycat.
No, I'm sorry, because she was such a gorgeous. And you think, oh, you were so lovely. Why are you doing this? You were gorgeous and fabulous, and you're a great actress, and I'm a huge fan. Just like, oh, dear, come on. Why would they think that's a good idea?
I don't know. It's really interesting is that they can both headline in major films because they're both good actors. And it just surprises me that sometimes you see actors making appalling choices.
And they can't need the money. I mean, it's not like they need the money.
No,
they don't need the money. They're floating. They're floating there.
No.
It's interesting. Nicole Kidman. One of my favorite writers is Patricia Cornwell, who created the Kay Scarpetta. And this will amaze you, but nearly every day, I've never met her, and she and I exchange a tweet. I couldn't believe she replied, but Patricia Cornwell, most days, because she knows I'm a big fan of her work. And then she just announced that Nicole Kidman has been cast to play Kay Scarpetta.
Really?
Yes. And I wrote back and saying, well, many, many congratulations. I've never seen Nicole Kidman in my head playing that part, but I'm thrilled that you got it away at last. Yeah. At last, you know, there's a body of work there that's phenomenal.
And the Kay Scarpetta character is a pathologist.
It's Italian. She's about as Italian as you can get, because a lot of the books, which are beautifully written and researched, about cooking, and she cooks for her niece, and she cooks when she's trying to think. They've even done the Kay Scarpetta, who's a fictionary character, cookbooks.
Oh no!
Well, anybody less Italian is Nicole Kidman. I can't think of anybody less Italian.
She's an Aussie girl. That's weird.
She's well, BMX bikers. Never forget that. That was her first film. So weird choice. Who knows? But anyway.
Okay, well, we'll see. Good. Well, I mean, it's I'm amazed it's taken that long for Patricia.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Those books off the ground because they've been sold everywhere.
Oh, they're huge. It's a huge industry. They're fantastic books. They're great stories. They're exciting. They're interesting. They're layered. I don't know why people just don't do it, and they pick up other books. And you think, why are you making TV of this? It's garbage. And it's like the Bryant and May books. They're crying out to be a TV series, crying out to be. Another series that I'm reading was written by Oscar de Muriel, who is South American and writes with the most perfect Scottish tone. And he only spent like a year or two in Scotland. Amazing. Crying out to be on TV. Fabulous books.
How interesting.
It is. There's no rhyme or reason. Right. Anything quickish that you would like to tell
do you want something sort of, it's a bit of a girlsy thing, but I'll mention it anyway.
Okay, please do.
Froth and Bubble on Apple TV called Land of Women, which is the new Eva Longoria.
Oh, we like her.
We like her. Do you remember her from Desperate Housewives?
Of course, she's great. Good actress.
Gabrielle Solis in Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
And she is, very briefly, she's the wife of a crooked New York guy. They're super wealthy, but clearly he's involved in some criminal activity.
Yeah, I think.
He's about to open a new wine business in New York. He suddenly has to go on the run because there seems to be the money has run dry and he owes everybody everything.
Uh-oh.
She then has to go on the run because the bad guys are then after her to try and find wherever the money has gone.
Yeah.
And so she runs away back to Spain with her mother and her daughter. And they head to the little village where the mother, who is not Eva Longoria. So Eva Longoria is the middle generation.
Is it Nicole Kidman again?
Not Nicole Kidman, but they run back to Spain to the tiny little village, which is where there is a vineyard that is not doing terribly well and is run by a very hunky bloke.
I can't imagine what happens next. You've thrown me. I'm in a turmoil.
It could go in any direction.
Yeah, it could. It's only going in one direction, and we know which direction that is.
Anyway, it's on Apple TV, and it's called Land of Women. It looks beautiful, actually. It does look beautiful, but it's froth and bubble and a bit of nonsense for the weekend.
Well, that's nice. That's what we need. The tougher life gets. This is my final comment. The tougher life gets, the more we need entertainment, as proved by the viewing figures of the Midday show. Thank you. My theory was correct. Chantal Rickards, you are a legend, of course. And we wish you well. Have a great trip to Los Angeles. Safe travels. And we'll see you, all being well, in a week's time. Bless you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Ah, she's the best. She is the best. That's all there is to it. Right. Well, we enter a new era. Thank you for being with the Midday Show. Thank you for putting up with our nonsenses. We hope we entertain. We try to inform, but mostly we try to entertain and cheer you up, and you cheer me up, to be perfectly honest with you, if you only knew. We'll be back. Oh, well, I won't be back on Monday because I'm conducting a funeral as a celebrant, but Neil and the gang will be back on Monday, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend under New Era United Kingdom. Until then, try and stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.